So I'm recording, is you can go ahead on the right. I guess we're going to do this backwards. If you go to that side, which is actually the right side that you're looking at, and the left side that I'm pointing to, but on the right-hand side, you're going to see a place where it has mentioned in all messages. You can go ahead and type in questions that you have for myself or Tommy down below. On the left-hand side or that side, you can tweet out, tell a little birdie that we are live, that Tommy said something that was really smart, really important. You want to say, hey, he looks really good. You like his T-shirt. You can post that out on Twitter as well, too. The other thing is you can follow Tommy right on as a follower on Blab. You can click right above him or myself, and somebody's already started doing it. When Tommy says something really smart, which he'll do this quite often, is make sure you give him what you call these props over here. Click on the button as much as possible, and it just shows Tommy some love that, hey, what he's saying is really important, because you wouldn't be a guest unless I was. So,
I like that.
Good. So we're recording. So ideally what happens is we have some people from Periscope that'll come over and join us. You know, we have some people from our list, but it's really for people who have already bought Social Media Ad Genius inside of our community. And what my business partner, Nick, and I had talked about, where Nick is, yep, there's Nick right over there. He's the behind the scenes guy, literally, right? Like behind the scenes.
That's where I want to be.
So what happens is we were talking about, you know, the people that I've met along the way. And we've always talked about diversifying traffic, and I love people's unique stories. So I want to ask you some questions about your story in a second. But I started asking around about, hey, I want to advertise on YouTube. I don't display, pre-roll, like whatever. And everybody said Tommy. Everybody said Tommy Powers. Everybody said Tommy Powers. And we met out in Traffic and Conversion. Had a couple of conversations. I mean, I buy your products and services. I'm on your. It's going to be a 4-hour webinar, but it ends up being a 6.5-hour webinar because you cover everything step by step on a Saturday, which is awesome. So I just wanted everybody to meet you inside of our community. So, Mr. Tommy Powers, welcome to Social Media Ad Genius, and I just appreciate you being here, sir.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited.
So a couple of things. We'll kind of jump right on into this. So
okay.
I know that you're known all over for YouTube, and I was explaining a buddy of mine funnels and kind of what I do, and a lot of this is just math and testing, right? And money becomes a numbers game, which is a psychological, interesting game. So let me ask you this, just so everybody can kind of align with your story. Like, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, dude, where did you grow up? Where did you come from? Did your parents buy you a mansion when you first started out and you had $10 million, so it was easy? Or like, you know, what's kind of, if you don't mind, like what's kind of some of that backstory that people relate to?
No, my parents didn't buy me a mansion. I'm from Mississippi, man. I grew up, half of my life on a farm, actually. We had my dad's side of the family, we had literally we grew everything. My grandmother would only go to town to buy feed for the animals and seeds and stuff like that, and everything else, flour, I think, and sugar and everything else, man, they grew it. So, and I grew up obviously not in the country part, but the city part, because I'm from a college town. But yeah, man, small town Mississippi. I did have a unique, part in being from a college town. I think that gave us sort of a melting pot, if you will, and it really spilled over into the community from a mindset perspective. So I think that really helped in terms of like my mindset and things like that. But, I wasn't poor by any stretch of the imagination. Like most people think about Mississippi, walking around on bare feet and whatever, this, that, and the other. We didn't grow up poor. I come from working class people, folks that get up, put their pants on every day and go to work. And they always told me, hey, if you want anything out of life, you got to get up and go work for it. And if you ever want to get ahead, you got to spend less than what you make. And so, those are the principles that I basically was raised on and kind of what I teach my children on. And that's kind of my background. I ended up going to Mississippi State University, which is the same town that I'm from. And I lived in Starkville, Mississippi for 24 years of my life. And got a job with Walmart in their management program. And that's how I ended up in Georgia, where I am today. And I've been here over 15 years. And, management background, did a lot of that stuff. And Got into this online advertising thing with eBay, actually. I usually don't even talk about that much.
So quick question there, because I'm always interested in the transition. And this usually really helps connect the dots for me, like learning from other entrepreneurs and kind of how you got into it. Did you have anybody as you were growing up, anybody in your family that was an entrepreneur, anybody who had gotten into marketing and advertising that inspired you early on, or was it something that you just eventually tripped into?
Yeah, I pretty much stumbled into it. I had entrepreneurs in my family, especially on my dad's side. We had quite a few of them. But I didn't grow up around them. The people that I actually grew up around and raised me were not in particular, the entrepreneur types. They were more of the working class, whatever. But I always had this thirst and desire to be something more than just, I always wanted to create better opportunity. I would just put it like that. I didn't know what entrepreneur was. I'm a small town, Mississippi. We know what entrepreneur word means, but I didn't really fully understand that, and I really just now really consider myself an entrepreneur, even though I've been doing this stuff long enough. But yeah, I didn't necessarily grow up around a lot of entrepreneurs. It just, this advertising stuff is something I kind of stumbled into, which is an interesting story. We can get into as well.
So you said you go from Walmart and then you said eBay. So there was you had to see some kind of program or a friend that made money. What was that itch? What was that spark?
eBay really was the thing that got me, to thinking about, obviously I had a background in, I was a computer engineering major out of high school. So if we back up for a second, I was in the NASA space grant program in high school, which is, was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
My junior and senior year in high school. So I was exposed to the internet, 16, 15 years old. And I was exposed to some things that were mind-boggling, is the way I would describe it. But I knew that the internet was the future even then. But I never really, got behind it like that. And then eBay was the thing that kind of brought me back into that after because I got away from the NASA thing. I flunked out, basically, because I was, partying, chasing girls and that kind of thing. I ended up changing my major to business when I graduated. But eBay is kind of what got me back into, okay, this internet stuff is, but it still didn't really strike me because I was just hustling. You know what I mean? It was just a hustle to me. It wasn't until I had heart failure. In 2007, I had congestive heart failure. And that is really what sort of forced me into, because it was a situation where the doctor said, you can't go back to work. You can't be in management. It's too stressful. You got to find something else to do. And basically, I needed a way to provide for my family. I knew the internet was the future. So I said, let me figure this internet thing out. And eBay was something that I kind of had got off at that point. So I just started exploring all the options out there, trying everything, AdSense sites. I got into affiliate marketing and, SEO. I was trying every freaking thing. And I stumbled into Google AdWords and, I married that with affiliate marketing, ClickBank products. And man, I fell in love with pay-per-click marketing because it's just math, dude. It's just numbers. And if you tie that back to the NASA program, when you put that together with the NASA thing, the reason why NASA thing was something that happened for me is because I was very good with numbers and data analysis and things like that. And so that's really what PPC was or is. And so that's kind of, I fell into it and I've been doing it ever since. I love it. It's just numbers, man.
So a couple of different questions with this that I think is really important. A friend of mine for the last 12 years came over on Friday and we were talking, we were hanging out and he's like, dude, he's looking at the view from here. We're talking about traveling and stuff. And he's like, dude, how'd you do this? And I go, it's all math. And he's like, that sounds complicated. And I go, it's really 5th grade math, right? It's not really that difficult. I didn't graduate at the top of my class or anything like that. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, the way that I think about going on vacation now, and I know that you do this as well too. You just told me the reason that you have the Dance Father shirt on. It's all math to figure out the best schools you can put your kids in or the best dance recital, whatever you want to do. It's just all math. So With that being said, is you already have a great talent for math, but I know a lot of people have a product or service or message they really want to get out there. Like just be honest, how complicated is the math to be able to start scaling a business, and like how much math skill is really required?
It's not complicated, man. I think people just focus on the wrong stuff. They get caught up on the things that don't matter instead of focusing on what really matters. And I think when you're not as math and number savvy as a guy like me, it's easy to happen, right? Because you're relying on other people, information that they give you in order to what you should be doing or where you should be focused. Yeah. And the reality is, it's pretty simple, really, to be honest. I mean, it took me a while to kind of make it all make sense, but that's part of the reason why I like doing these type of interviews and stuff, because I can be able to tell that to people and say, hey, it's really not that, it's not as complicated as it seems. It's just really knowing what to focus on. And at the end of the day, when you have a real business and you have a vision for that business, it's easier to figure out what to focus on. I think a lot of times people struggle with, they have an idea of what they want to do, but they don't really have a plan on how they're going to do it. And without a plan, I can't really give you any direction because it's a million ways to do it. But once you have a plan, then it's more succinct in terms of, okay, well, this is your plan. Well, here go a roadmap for you based on the plan on how you would use pay-per-click in the midst of your plan or your vision. But that's the biggest issue I see people. They want to get somewhere, but they don't really have a clear-cut plan or vision on how they want to get there. So it's almost impossible for me to really give you a really good roadmap because there's so many twists and turns that you could take. Not just PPC, SEO, social media, Facebook page, website, all of these terms that we throw around. But once you have a dialed in plan of where you want to be and how you want to get there in terms of, your idea of how you want to get there, then we can layer a roadmap on top of that. But you can't build a road on top of no foundation. You can't build a house on top of no foundation. And so that's the problem most people have, is they usually don't really have a foundation. So you really can't help them really build anything.
Yeah, we were talking about this just recently. Just with Nick and my business partner, Nick, and Shecky, basically our community director. And we were really talking about, people's sales funnels, long-term sales funnels. And we really started talking about, and people will hear us talking about this more and more, is small little micro commitments. And we've kind of broken it down in, to kind of 4 different parts, which is just getting people to move into small micro commitments. That could be what people would relate to as a funnel or whatever.
Right.
Number 1. Number 2 is if they have a product or service or message, something that they want to get out to the world. And number 3, if they know exactly what their perfect avatar is. Google and Facebook does all the other hard work of finding exactly where they are, how to retarget them, what device that they're on. And you said something that was really brilliant that I want to make sure that the people don't miss. Like, the reason I like to talk to people like you is you've run so much traffic that you can say 1 or 2 words is because you've seen it spread out in so many different ways, or you've worked with so many other clients. Really, this math and this opportunity, without going through the details, you even told me, you're like, Curt, I'm kind of sort of putting together a class. I don't know if it's going to be open. I'm working with some much, much larger clients. At the end of the day, it's all math. It's just bigger scale. Yep. It's really just what we're talking about at the end of the day that we're showing people. I'm going to walk through equation here in just a second. It provides you, let me ask you this, it provides you options. Did you ever think 6 years ago that you would be working with some of the clients that you're working with today?
No.
Isn't it crazy?
No, it is. Yeah.
Just a couple of years.
Yeah. 2 years ago. Yeah. 2 years ago even. I was just telling you last night, we were talking, and the people that I'm getting connected with now is mind-boggling, to be, like I was telling you about the Silicon Valley stuff. It's like, these guys are really, are the real deal when it comes to that world. They're real players in that world, and the money that they talk about is just on another level. Like it's this whole internet marketing world, and then this whole other world where, You know, it's just they're playing the same game. They're hustling just like we are. They're just doing it with bigger numbers. They just have another 0 or 2 or 3 behind the numbers that they, but it's a big hustle. All of it is a hustle. And it's just amazing that, you know, to get connected and then to communicate with them. And then I basically say, okay, is this what it is? And I'll give them 2 or 3 sentences and that's it. It's basically it. That's how it works. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, okay, this is just another hustle. It's just a bigger game. There's just more bigger numbers that they playing with. And it made me just feel like this big because it's like, dude, you think so small, you know? And so, yeah, it blows me away how big these guys think. So the fact that they see value in what I bring to the table.
So a couple of things, and I'm going to answer some questions we have over here on the right side as well too. But I want to clarify one other thing that you said that was brilliant that I wanted to make sure that people got. Is you said something along the lines of, you didn't use these exact words, but it was testing and verifying. You said, look, you got to figure out your own numbers because it's math, because there's so many other people out there saying different things. But then you went off to tell another story about how you were proving out the math. And I think it's extremely brilliant that people recognize is you're going to go to these events, you're going to go to these places, people are going to tell you different information, which is cool. It's all cool. Test and verify. I never believe anything unless I test and verify it. Now, Tommy, what you've done is you've just figured out your talent of spotting patterns, and all you're doing is you're testing and verifying ideas that these big guys and these big corporations are like, oh my God, what if? And you're like, look, there's so much data here because of the numbers. Google will tell you all the traffic, where it's at. It's on mobile, tablets, whatever. It'll tell you where these people are shopping at, where to target it at. You just have to know how to look at the numbers. It's just running a bunch of numbers, right?
Right.
So what's interesting is I like when you say, hey, don't worry about what everybody else is saying. All you got to do is test and verify. And you're right, it's easy. Small little micro commitment. What did that make me, right? How much traffic did it bring me? What's the site? So to answer one of the questions over here, and then Tom, I'd love to get your thoughts on Scott. Someone said, hey, what do you guys do? Is I've spent over $6 million in Facebook ads in about 18 months, worked in 35 different industries, celebrities, reality TV stars, small businesses, large businesses. My niche has been Facebook traffic, but I've gotten to have a lot of friends along the way where I get to understand some amazing funnels and how they follow up with people. And through all the friends that I asked and everything else, I said, who's the best in the world at YouTube ads? And they're like, well, there's the best in the world that you may or may not hear about. And there's also people who document the process who are really good at it. And Tommy Power's name came up over and over and over and over. So not only, which I think is great about running ads, you can either run it for clients if you want. You can determine how much you charge based on success rates. You can do it with affiliate marketing. You can do it with your own product. As long as you have a product, a dream, or a service, I mean, you can get predictable traffic pretty much anywhere. Am I right on that, Tommy?
That's right. That's right.
Google, let's talk about YouTube for just a second. So I know that when we've talked before, you're not producing hundreds of videos that you star in where you're spending rap money video budgets to produce videos. Like, how did you ever get into YouTube to advertising, and you're using not necessarily your face in videos? Like, how did that whole thing happen, and why have you really stuck with YouTube marketing?
Well, I mean, YouTube was just an extension of my skills that I already developed, you know, from 2007 when I stumbled on the AdWords. I got started with the Google Display, which it was called Google Content Network back then, but it's called the Google Display Network now. And that's kind of where I made, you know, my bones. That's really where I found my first success. So a lot of what I do now lends itself to, I already had the skill set for it. It just was a little different with twists where you're using videos now. Instead of driving people to a website, we're driving people to a video, at least for the in display. With the other types, you know, like the little pesky ones with the skip ad now, like you can actually use those and link out directly to your website. So it's just a different mechanism in terms of, you can use a banner ad to do that, or you can use a video to do that, right? Or you can use a text ad to do that. So it's really the same thing that I'm used to doing. I'm just using a different method in order to get people ultimately to where I want to go and to do ultimately what I want them to do. But it's pretty much, conceptually speaking, it's all the same. It's just videos, is the mix in it, you know. So my skill set lended itself to it so well that I was able to find a lot of success kind of early on. And I introduced it to a couple of students I was coaching and some clients I was working with, and said, hey, I think this is a viable source of traffic. I think we need to run some stuff. I've been testing and messing around with it. Here's what I think we ought to do. And they agreed to it because they trusted me. I was getting some really great results for them, you know, running PPC campaigns across multiple platforms. And we started integrating some of this stuff. We already had some proven funnels that we could work with. And man, it just kind of took off. And it was like, whoa, you know, like, hold on, like, that's really more here than I even thought. And once I kind of saw the early results, I doubled down on it and just really started learning everything I could about it, you know, and that kind of brought me to where we are today.
If you don't mind me asking, like, without products or clients, of course, whatever you're comfortable with, like, when people think of YouTube advertising, you know, they're like, I don't know, does it work for my industry? Like, what kind of industries or verticals that you've seen, that you've kind of touched or played around with, that you've seen have worked really well? Like, just some of the ones that just come to your head that some people might not think that we're even capable of being on YouTube.
I think, you know, there's a lot of verticals I've seen it with. Me personally, I'm more of a, you know, broad mass appeal type of guy. Cause I mean, you know, if the product doesn't have broad mass appeal, I can't scale. If I can't scale, I can't really make the money that I feel like I deserve to make. But I know guys that are crushing it in local, you know, I know guys that are killing it in all different markets. I've worked with an agency, my last agency that I worked with, we work with people from all different, you know, real estate to info marketing to you know, large, you know, markets like diet and beauty and things like that. So, I mean, it can work pretty much on any level. It's just a matter of, you know, it's not quite like Facebook. I will admit, Facebook to me, and I know we talk about YouTube, but I have to be honest, it is the greatest advertising platform ever created. I just believe that. I say it, I believe it is the truth. Why? Because of the targeting, because of the precise targeting. So you don't get that precise of targeting like you do with Facebook, but with YouTube, you have something that Facebook can't give you. And I know people talk about Facebook video ads, but when there's an apples to apples comparison, I found that YouTube delivers a higher quality customer than Facebook does, which is interesting that we can kind of delve into later. But that's kind of the difference. However, Facebook, YouTube is a little more, you know, mass appeal. It's more like traditional media, like radio, TV, you know, so anything that's broad mass appeal, you know, like, and these are huge markets on YouTube, like beauty, fitness, diet, skin, stuff like that. Like those are really, really, really huge on Facebook. YouTube. And you have to also remember, YouTube is very personality driven. So you have to also look at gaming. Gaming is freaking, look at PewDiePie. Look at the guy PewDiePie. He's the #1 person. He got 40 million subscribers almost. It's insane, you know, and all the guy does is like get on game, play games and say stupid stuff. Gaming is probably #1. Gaming is probably #1 on YouTube. So it's massive. So those are the ones that are always going to lend themselves the best. However, you know, it works for pretty much any market. Again, you touched on it. You said it. When you know your market well enough, it just boils down to, are they on YouTube or are they not? And if you don't know the answer to that, then there goes your problem first and foremost, because you need to be able to answer that question. You need to know so much about your market and who you're targeting that you should know if they're on YouTube or not. And if they are, then you should be advertising there. And if they're not, then you shouldn't be. You know, but more than likely, your market is probably on there in some capacity. It's just a matter of how much do you know about them. And the more you know about them, the more you'll know if they're there and whether or not you should be advertising to them, because more than likely they're on there.
Yeah, we really talked about, we were just talking about this, I mean, right before the call with my business partner in Shecky, which is, if people could narrow down really just 4 things, if they could really narrow this down, Google and Facebook does all the hard work, which is that, they got a product, service, or a message, great. The next thing is do they really know their avatar? The age range, where do they shop? Do they really, really, really know their avatar? And if they can make small little micro commitments, just a small little micro commitment, you can actually figure out the proof if all this stuff works together. All it is just by the testing and the measuring, which Google will provide the analytics. You just do a little bit of the simple math and you can see, did this article work? Did it move this person to go to the opt-in? Did this person buy? Once the person buy, did they do X? It's just small little micro commitments. And it's amazing what Facebook and Google, the only thing that they really want, they just want us to provide relevant content. It doesn't have to have these amazing hooks, or it doesn't have to be the perfect video. So I know I just recently saw that Facebook's now allowing people to add like 6 or 12 or 15 slides to make a 15-second video, which you can speed it up. So someone else that added here as well too is I know that you also do the display advertising, where it's the thumbnails of videos. So videos, do you have clients record them? Do you record them? I know you test hundreds of different stuff at a time, which is amazing. A couple of pictures and some music. Like, I know a lot of people have fear of being on video. How do you solve that one?
Yeah, I don't personally create videos. That's not my lane. I'm a traffic, guy. I focus on the data and the numbers and how to my true value is how do we take those numbers and I leverage that data to twist things to more in our favor. That's kind of like really my true value. But I do work with my clients. I help provide direction on what we should be doing and whatnot, but I don't personally create videos. However, there are tools out there that will allow you to create videos that I've used. There's Fiverr that I've used. Those all work. Again, at the end of the day, you can create a video without being in the video. As long as your message is match the market, the message, the market is a match, right? And you're saying the right things. You don't necessarily have to be in the video. I will admit, though, being in the video, because YouTube is a very personality-driven platform, those tend to perform better. But we have them that work that don't. I mean, I had a guy who started with me. He was making like $5K a month, and we quadrupled his business with a stupid video sales letter that was an hour and 10 minutes long. You know what it was? It was black letters on a white background. Okay, that changed every couple of seconds. Every time he talked a sentence, it changed. Like it's basic as it sounds.
Really?
The thing was an hour and 10 minutes long, and that guy went from that to like 20-something K a month to ended up taking his business to 6 figures a month. On the backbone of these type of YouTube ads. So. I mean, you don't have to do. I mean, I can't guarantee that everybody's going to get that. So I don't want people to take it and say, well, Tommy said I'm going to do. You understand, like, that's everybody, not going to happen to everybody. But the reality is that you don't have to be in the video. The key thing is, like you said, test. You have to have the primary things you talked about, those 4 things. Once you have those, before you go spend a ton of money producing big budget videos and things like that, test something. Get it done as cheap and inexpensive as possible. I had one guy, a client of mine, I was on him about a video. And the guy sent me the video, finally. Guess what it was, man? He had his mobile device, holding it to his face, talking it to the mobile device. And I looked at it, and I looked at the video, and I was like, are you kidding me? But hey, we tested it. Lo and behold, the thing worked like gangbusters. So, I mean, I think a lot of times people just overthink because they're just thinking instead of actually doing something. And until you actually execute and get data, you don't know if it's going to work or not. So what's the easiest, fastest, quickest way I can get a video up and test? Then I can take that data and I can build on that. And so that taught me right then and there. It was like, from that point forward, if somebody gave me an excuse about a video, I say, do you have a smartphone? And they say, yeah. Does it record video? Say, yeah. Record a freaking video. You know what I mean? Pull out your smartphone. Here go a script. Here go a fundamental script concept.
Yep.
Read this script, understand what it's talking about, make it apply to your audience, open up your smartphone, click record, shoot the video over. Simple, done. So it's what you make it a lot of times, man. And I think people overthink things and they put obstacles in their own way of getting something done. And at the end of the day, it may or may not work. However, the data that you receive is what's going to allow you to make a decision about what to do next, rather than having a theory about what I should do. You need to be having data that's driving your decisions. And in order to do that, you got to execute on something. Agreed.
There's two small points here that I know Dave here has a question we'll answer here live in just a second. I think one of the things that you're really talking about is just testing and verifying information, which is great. And so many people that I've worked with, from celebrities, reality TV stars, small business, large business, whatever, it's like, hey, look, people just want to connect with you and they just want to see a video of you. That's all they want to do. Whether it's on an iPhone, if it's edited, nobody really cares. What they care about is they see that it's you and that you're authentic. They don't care if you can spell right. They don't care if you look pretty. They don't care if you have makeup on. They just want to connect with you. And I know I always have a saying that most people never do anything consistently, and those that do win. So I just know if I put on regular videos, even if they're just a minute long or 2 minutes long, whether I talk with proper English, whether I enunciate things properly, nobody really cares. They just want to see me over and over. And what we really talked about that you said before that was brilliant, and I just really want to emphasize this, is so many people are like, I have to look perfect. I have to have a perfect blog. I have to have a perfect website. And what you really said as well, too, is as long as your content matches your avatar, as long as your content matches who you're targeting, it doesn't have to be perfect. Facebook and Google are going to help you find that person. Sticking in front of that person, now you're going to have the data to figure out exactly what they do next. And at that time, it's just all math. So at the beginning of the story is, you even said it, and I'm just emphasizing it, the video doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be relatable content to the person you're targeting.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
Doesn't have to be any more complicated. And then you just figure out with math, did that shit work?
And if it didn't, why?
Right. Do something different.
Do something different. Well, that didn't work. Let me try this. Let me see how this compares to that. When you get that data, it'll give you more. Now you have something to actually act on rather than just theory. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be driving your decisions with theory. You should be driving decisions with data. At least when it comes to PPC,
Always. I mean, here's what I love about this business that I promise I'll take Dave's call is your business is really predictable if you know where the measurements are. So if you know that you're driving in the funnel and you're knowing you're going from one spot to the next spot to the next spot, and I'm like, hey, look, it cost me $5 for this person to get in. In 7 days, I earned $10. In 14 days, I earned $21. Oh my God, within 90 days, I earn $150 in that customer. That means I just got to drive a bunch of customers if I want to go on vacation in the next 90 days. I mean, how it works as well too. So do you mind, Tommy? Can I take a question from Dave here real quick? I'm going to bring him on.
Sure.
Dave, we're going to bring you on. We'll take some live questions. We're going to make them really short, sweet. Just ask your question. Tommy answering myself, and then we're going to boot you up just for anybody else. Not out of disrespect. I just want to make these things go quickly. So let's see here. Dave, we'll pull it up. Make sure your video's working and everything else. Let's see here. Dave's coming up. And then we also had another one over here to the side why Dave's coming up is Scott from the UK said, I have a product that I make for a $15 profit that I now sell. How can I do the math to start an AdWords campaign? How much should I be spending and still turn a profit? Well, Tommy, I know my answer. Sorry, go ahead. If someone's selling something for $15, a widget for $15, how much should they spend to acquire that $15 customer?
That's a good question. I guess it depends on if it's your product or someone else's product. Me personally, I don't care about the profit at first. I want to buy some data first to determine, am I even close to my number? So I know if my profit margin is only $15, I'm going to spend, a couple $100 to get some data to see if I'm even close to that number. Because if I'm near that number, I can probably optimize and make it work. But let's say I'm paying $50 too much, then maybe it may be really difficult for me to optimize that to get it to where I'm going to be profitable. So that's kind of how I'm going to approach it from the get-go. I would never go into something thinking I'm going to be ROI positive out of the gate. You're always going to spend money up front to get data. And then the data will give you an idea of, okay, yeah, because you can always optimize. That's why you have multiple videos. That's why you split test all the different variables that you test everything. We split test everything from on every platform. I don't care if it's YouTube, Facebook, it doesn't matter. Every potential variable that we can test, we test it, because any little improvement at every micro commitment, like you talked about, Curt, it compounds each other. So if I get a better, a lower cost on my ad, and then a higher conversion on my landing page, and then, that kind of thing, like every little improvement that you make is not incremental, they're compounding. So that's how you do it. That's what I would say.
I mean, the thing is what's so funny, and I really appreciate you saying this. And I really do mean this. Like, I really want to point this out. Like, it's brilliant when I asked you that question, because you said, I don't know, it depends. I haven't tested enough yet. So here's what a lot of people do. So I want to answer the question right with the $15 investment, because I think so many people screw up this process. And Tommy, what you said was so spot on. People will say, well, wait a minute, I have a $15 book, for example, and I'm going to spend $10 so I can make a $5 profit. Now, if I can take that $5 profit times 100, right. Oh my God, now I can make $500. It's going to be great. And what Tommy said automatically is, no, dude, they missed that complete opportunity. He wanted to see how many books could he sell. Maybe he sells a $15 book at $20, but then there's another product that follows right after that. Maybe there's a coaching, or maybe there's another affiliate product. Now he knows the lifetime value of the customer. I was just at an event with Todd Brown, who talks about funnels, who said this was brilliant. He's like, look, he goes, a lot of people are willing to spend $50 for a $200 customer. Yep. And he's like, how many people in the audience? He goes, how many people here would spend $50 to get 200? And like 3/4 of the hands went up. And he's like, if you're not willing to spend $50 to get 200, then you're not in the right game. Yep. But there's a saying that we have in Texas where pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Never be too greedy, right? So it's like people come up to me and they're like, Curt, I spent $50 and my product's 200, but like I didn't make any money, so I stopped. You said, well, you didn't spend enough money. Yeah. So then Todd's like, look, if you're willing to spend $100 for a $200 customer, you still double your money. But a lot of people are scared of that. They don't really know. He goes, what I test with my business, and I've said the same thing as well, and I could hear you basically say it, which is, I'm going to test 3 times the amount of that customer. So if I'm going to make $200, I'll test up to $600. Yep. I maybe make 3 sales. But the main thing is if I'm willing to spend $210 for that $200 customer, a lot of people out there will think, well, that's stupid. You're going to spend $10? No, I have the perfect customer, because the next thing they buy, it's going to be, after that $10, it's 100% profit, and it always will be. A year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Right. So Tommy, you said, quote unquote, I don't know, I haven't really tested enough, or the question was, how much money do you test the book? Which is just, you're looking for predictable, scalable data. It's brilliant.
That's it. And what you're saying, Curt, lends itself to, I've done YouTube, Facebook, you name it. If there's a way to buy traffic online, I've run it, okay? Yeah. The way you win in this game is you be able to outspend your competition. That's the key to winning when it comes to paid media. If you want to scale, you're talking about 7 figures per month stuff. You got to be willing. You got to be able to outspend your customer. But that's really the game on how you really get way, way up. But I understand, like we're talking about, I'm just starting out. But what Curt is talking about is outspending your competition. That is how you really, really, really go big.
But just to be clear, I want to really state this because this is super important because I want to help remove people's limiting self-beliefs, right? I learned that over the last weekend. It was like, hey, if I could show people how to remove their self-beliefs. So like, for example, on our product, Social Media Ad Genius, between, I don't know, March, April, May and September, May and November, something like that, we spent $168,000 in Facebook ads just for our product, right?
Right.
And I remember talking to my mom saying, hey, Mom, remember I bought my first house was $135,000 for a 30-year loan. And she's like, oh, my God, you spent over how much money did you spend just promoting your Facebook course? And I go, Mom, it's outspending my competition. And she's like, oh, my God, like, wait a minute. You don't have credit cards. Like, you don't have a line of credit. And it was outspending my competition, but it wasn't because I started with $1 million. It was because I knew how to put $100 in, make 101 back out, and keep on scaling. So just to be clear, when you're talking about scaling and outspending your competition, it's not because you have more money than your competition, is you know your numbers and you're better. I don't want to say better at math because it's not that hard, but you know your numbers better than your competition, so it allows you to spend more. Am I right or am I wrong on that?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to, knowing your numbers. When you know your numbers, it's pretty straightforward. And again, knowing your numbers also means how does that relate to the competition in the marketplace? Because if you see these other guys out there just absolutely crushing it and you can't compete, then something probably wrong with your numbers because you can't compete. How do I get there? How do I create more value for my buyers and still be giving them, more value than they're paying me for, but will allow me to actually spend more money to acquire a customer? And that's something that I always, focus on and communicate with, with my clients and the people that I work with, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. It's interesting because I know we've talked about YouTube for a little bit and people have had some question over here as well too, it's interesting. So I was really thinking about kind of reflecting back on the year, like what our business has done and who I've met. And I'm like, I know I do a lot of Facebook marketing, but it's really led me to amazing conversations like what you and I are having right now. And it's really been a conduit. And people asked me as my business like really changed back in June, they're like, oh my God, your business changed overnight. What are you going to do? And it's like, really what we've learned here is just a trade skill. And you've already said it once or twice, but I just want to emphasize on this. We're talking about YouTube marketing, but you've applied this same type of logic, same type of math to how many other platforms?
Every one of them, all of them. This stuff is universal. I mean, the platforms change, but the concepts stay the same, man. Again, it's just instead of using a banner ad, I'm using a video. Instead of using a text ad, I'm using a video. It's not that complicated. It's people will want you to think it is, but it's not. The concepts stay the same, man. Platforms change. Just like Instagram ads are out now, and we're running those, and Pinterest ads, and every other ad that you can think of that's going to come out, and one day it's going to be something else. It doesn't matter when you understand the fundamental principles of how to advertise, buying media, paid media acquisition. The platforms change, but and the tactics per platform is a little different. The levers and buttons are a little different, but conceptually speaking, man, it's all the same. And it's just a matter of what I try to do is I try to integrate that foundational training stuff in my training, because I actually use the same training that I have is the same stuff I teach internally. So I want to infuse that into my training. And then what I'm doing then is just layering on top of, okay, if we're talking about YouTube, okay, here go the little intricate little quirks about YouTube that you got to do that lays on top of this foundation. Or if it's Facebook, well, here's the little, the little quirky little things on Facebook that you can do, or match this button, match that button. But the foundation and the concepts, they're basically the same. It's just you layering a different platform on top of it, and you're just trying to understand, here's how I do it with this particular platform. So that's what I try to do when I talk about strategy, development, and things like that, because it's all conceptually speaking. You want to understand from a conceptual point of view what you're trying to accomplish. And then now that we understand that, then let's do YouTube. We're going to do YouTube advertising. Here's the buttons you need to push in order to make this a reality.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nothing. I just said that makes sense. Hopefully that makes
absolutely.
sense.
With someone had just commented, they're like, how would you do a video for this blab? So just for an idea, just to let you know how this whole thing works out, is I like to do a blab because I like to do the interviews, and I feel really privileged for the people I get to meet when I get to kind of go back and forth and listen to Tommy speak on this stuff. So like for us, for example, we have an email list for social media ad genius. So we show people how to advertise on Facebook and other platforms. So I've always been curious on YouTube. Everybody's always said, hey, talk to Tommy. So what we do is we send out an email to our list that says, hey, we have a blab that's going on. You can watch this one time live. We're not going to have the recording that's posted out in the public. But what we do is we put it back in the membership section who says, where I want people to learn my methodology of how to start spending money. And then they start meeting people who are really close to me who do great things like Tommy. Hey, I love his methodology. I love what he's doing here. This makes a lot of sense. He starts taking those next steps as well too. But people are like, hey, how do you use this video for blab? All we do is we just ask our customers or our prospects or the people that we're targeting is how to make a small little micro commitment. And that small little tiny micro commitment is like, hey, find out how we write our perfect ads for Facebook. But just because they don't buy the first thing that we offer them doesn't mean they don't like us. Maybe
Right.
They really resonate with, oh my goodness, I've always wanted to market on YouTube. This Tommy Powers, I heard about him, and now Curt's having an interview with him. Now I want to just listen to Tommy. And now they're building a rapport because we introduced Tommy on over. We're using blab. But this is what we're doing. All we're doing is making small micro commitments for people to get to know us more and more. And then what Tommy says, just applying this, is now we're just going to run different numbers to it. Whether it's Twitter, Pinterest, or LinkedIn or whatever, it's just different numbers to say, does our avatar, our perfect targeting, does that match the small little micro commitment? Did they watch the video? Yes. Did they go to the next step? Yes. Did they not go to the next step? What video or what advertisement can we continue on that story with? And it's just continuing to tell the story in math in a different platform. And that's it, right?
That's it. Pretty much.
Nick, did you get that figured out, by the way? Nick applied, by the way, because the other question is I know I asked you for an hour and I'm running kind of quick on that. And okay. I know some other people have some questions, but I want to say something, and I don't think you'll mind if I share this. And if I do, you can interrupt me and say stop. But I was asking you, and I'm like, hey, look, I go, Tommy, what's really important to me is that you meet my tribe and my community. That's the most important. The second thing is I know you have a YouTube product, and I know it from time to time that you offer it. And you're like, hey, look, I do, but I don't always necessarily keep up with it. I'm not always in the forums. You're like, dude, I'm working with some really big people and some really good things, and I want to make sure that I always service a product, and I don't really release it to the public. I may at other times, but dude, I'm just focusing on other things. And what I heard is some people hear this marketing message of buy for a limited time only. And what I really heard, and I wanted to make sure I told you, like, especially in front of everybody, like, dude, what I heard as an entrepreneur who had options is just like, dude, I get to play with my favorite options. Yep. And I'm like, dude, I respect a ton of that from you. It's because you figured out the math to choose who you want to hang out with, who you want to work with, choose who you want to get to do, or who you want to get to do. How about who you do? What you want to do. Tommy's like, dude, I'm married. This is awkward. Yeah. But I mean, it's really just, it's all options. So congratulations for you. And then if people wanted to get a hold of you, like, how did they do that, Tommy, if people want to find out more about you?
So basically, there's my website, Video Ads Academy. It's not actually open to the public. But I know that we were going to be doing this, and that's why I reached out and said, we discussed, and it's like, maybe I can put something together. I am in the process of, so you talked about the workshop that you were on, the 6.5 hour one.
Yeah.
We're about to roll that out. Obviously I did that mostly for my members. I did allow some people to join who wasn't members, and they paid to be a member of that. That's the most recent thing that we've done a few weeks ago. It is the most up-to-date what we're doing. So basically what I did was, for your audience, we tried to create something so that people can, if they're interested, have access to that, because it's literally, like I say, Video Ads Academy is not actually open to the public. And the reason why, and I was honest about that, Curt, when I said it's like,
I respect it. Yeah.
I don't have the infrastructure to support selling information products at a large scale because that's not really where my business is going. My business is going, where, some of these guys that I'm working with, we're talking, like really large numbers and major influence. And so I'm more focused on building on those relationships. But I was working with you to get something put together so that we can offer them something. And I'm actually in the middle of like doing that right now.
That's
so
fine.
You guys can.
That's fine. So let me tell people a little bit about this, and then Nick's on Skype or I'm on Skype if you want to Skype it over, whatever works out best for you. Is the moral of the story, what I've really learned is when I first got into online marketing, 5 years ago after I lost everything in real estate, is I really figured it out like Tommy did. This is why I chuckle about this and I love this, is you can really have whatever you want in life as long as you understand the math and you understand your risk tolerance. I ask people all the time, how much money would you spend if you knew that you could put in $1 and that you would make $1.05 back out? And they go, well, it depends. Well, this business is not for you. Because what's going to happen is you're going to put $1, you're going to make $1.05 back out, and you may make $1.06, maybe $1.04, maybe $1.01. It may be 80 cents one day. But if you look at the numbers right, what happened over 24 hours, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, 3 months, and what are your averages, right? You take the emotion out of it, and all it is simple math. That's all it really is. Financing your trip, I finance trips. It's really just simple math. And I think one of the reasons I relate to Tommy so much is you get to pick and choose exactly what you want to do, all based off math. You can apply it on lots of different other networks. And really, it's a trade skill. So regardless if YouTube went away, which it won't, or Facebook or LinkedIn, there's hundreds of different places for traffic. And it's really the skill that you have right now that, multi-million-dollar companies are paying for you saying, teach us how to do it, hit the right sequence of buttons. And all it is just a sequence of buttons. So Nick, did you get the other? Oh, Nick has it. That's perfect. Nick will take care of everything else. So the other thing is either you guys saw us in the public domain, or of course you saw us through Social Media Ad Genius. In the public domain, you can always look up socialmediaadgenius.com. That's how you find out more about myself. If you are seeing this in the public, you find out about, we have videos and trainings and step-by-steps. We host blabs. You can find me on Periscope. Oh, so one thing. By the way, if Tommy said something really smart, which he said lots of really smart stuff, if you're really paying attention to it, make sure you give him a bunch of props over here as well too. Follow him on Blab as he decides to come out with additional updates. Follow him on Twitter. Look him up on his website, on Facebook. Just to make sure that you're in front of. Really, Tommy is one of these individuals. I just have to say, and Tommy, it's not just because you're here, but he'll say one or two things as he's telling a story that if you really think about it and apply it to your business, it's said with a lot of weight behind it, a lot of testing behind it, a lot of different variables and split testing. Especially my favorite. Tommy, how much would you be willing to spend for a $15 product? Depends. Haven't spent enough. Don't know. Don't have enough data. It wasn't, I'm going to take a loss or make a profit. It's just I didn't have enough data.
Yep.
So, Nick, do you want to? Oh, here's what we have. So Nick sent this on over. So, Tommy, I'm putting this in here because I'm like, dude, I don't even care if your sales page is half done, sort of done. I don't even care if it's a big pitch. I want everyone to get to know who you are. And I want everybody to, be able to follow up with you if they want to learn more. I buy your products and services, so I put a link in here. What is this?
I hear myself.
Sorry.
Coming back to me. I don't know. Let me click your link. Let me see what we put together.
This is how we do it. By the way, you get
literally. Okay. Yeah. This is basically the in display masterclass that workshop that we did a couple weeks ago that you were on. Actually, you were on there with us. You hung out with us for a long time.
How much you charging people for that thing then?
I think so. We roll it out for $2.99.
Wow.
But what we're gonna do is, because I've been having my list hitting me up, wondering when this thing is gonna be available. They knew that we did it. They knew I recorded it. We're gonna actually be offering, and I'll extend this to your people as well. If they want to go to the link, and if they decide they want to join up, there's a coupon code that they can enter and save $100. It's going to be good till this Monday.
Oh, okay.
So if people want to take advantage of that, I figure I'll put that out there. I'm going to be offering that to my people, which normally I usually give my people the best deals. But, considering we're doing the interview, I said, why not allow you guys the same benefit? And then if people want to join Video Ads Academy, the full on, the only way you can get that is you have to be a customer of mine. So you would have to actually purchase the master class, and then you would have to take the upgrade if you wanted to become a full access member. And basically a full access lifetime member, you get the master class, you get all of the other courses that I've rolled out in the past, all of the stuff that we're going to roll out in the future, any updates, any live workshops, any live coaching sessions. We have a private Facebook group, all of that stuff. So you'll be able to see that if you decide that you want to join up, or maybe you just, don't want the fire hose right now and you just want to focus on one thing. I would say if you're a newbie or you're kind of just starting out, then maybe the full Video Ads Academy may be a bit much for you because it's a lot of content. But literally, Video Ads Academy is what we train our team, our staff internally. That's how I train. It's the same material that I teach my people that we use to execute for our big budget clients. So that is really what Video Ads Academy is about. And then, but what I learned early on is a lot of times it's overwhelming for some people. Mm-hmm. So that's why we start taking, because we systematize everything that we do. For in display, we have a system. For in stream, which is, I talked about the little pesky ads where you skip ad. We have a system for that, right? And then so we systematize like everything that we do. And so what we start doing then is realizing, okay, maybe we can offer people, one thing to focus on first. Because if you can get traction with the one thing, then you'll see value in, okay, maybe I need to go see what this other stuff is.
Absolutely.
But giving everybody everything is probably not a good thing for you or for me, because again, we can't handle a large influx of customers because we just don't have the infrastructure to do it. And we want to make sure the people that we do let in, we can service them and service them extremely well, because our customer service, I feel like, is unmatched. And my guy, he's texting me now because he's watching. Abel, who works with me. But I mean, we pride ourselves in our customer service. So in order for us to keep the highest quality level, that's why we don't just open this thing up and just open the floodgates up to it. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is I don't want to dilute the information, to be honest. Honestly, like I mentioned before, Video Ads Academy allows us an additional revenue stream where we can go out and build these relationships, work with these people on the bigger level, get the bigger, larger clients, that more experience for us that then we can bring back to the community. Because a lot of people we have that are in Video Ads Academy are big players. Anybody that out here talking about YouTube advertising, they're a member. Yeah. They are a member. Yeah. And I don't brag on myself. Anybody that knows me knows that. But I believe that, Video Ads Academy and the people that are in there, probably the best collection of the top video YouTube advertisers out there in one place, because all of the big dogs, so to speak, they're in there. Not all of them, because I know some guys that are doing some crazy numbers that are not in there. But a lot of the people that you see teaching this stuff and that kind of thing, they're members of my Video Ads Academy. Not saying that they don't have their own strategies or whatnot, but there's a reason why they're members as well. So I think those guys can learn something, that ought to tell you something right there.
I think this is another important thing, and I know we're going over on time just a little bit, so I appreciate your time here. I just want to make two other small points that I want to reinforce that you made that I think was great. a lot of people I don't even want to say a lot of people, because I don't really attract this into my life. I'm a firm believer that, you attract basically what you think on, right? Or what you focus on is, some people will come to me and they're just jaded. And they're like, you know what? It's all the instructors. It's the people selling the information products. Those are the only people that are making money. And I'm like, you don't get this. Like, here's the reason that I do it. And you said exactly the same reason that I do it, which is, look, I have information that I know I can give that's valuable to someone else. If they use it, they can make money. But that's not the core reason. The core reason is it connects me with other amazing individuals that are doing amazing things with their businesses. Now, these people, whether they have $10 million businesses, $100 businesses, or sometimes literally a $20,000 a year business, they have brilliant ideas and just think about things just a little bit differently because we're inside of a community. So now you get to meet these big players, these people who are innovators, these people with great ideas, and you're making some money along the way because you're providing a centralized place of information. So it's not that, hey, the product owner is making a ton of money, and you've already said that you don't have it open to scale. I know you can buy the traffic to fill your customer database, but you're like, look, I want to use it to make the right connections and to share that information back with you. And really, I know it's really about the connections, and that's how you're working with people now. The money from people buying memberships, it's just a byproduct. It's not the main thing that makes your mortgage or pays for your dance lessons. It's just the introductions and being able to share with the message with people, right?
That's right. That's right. One other point I wanted to make, if people decided they wanted to take that upgrade, there's another Save 200 that they can do. So you might want to put that in there, Save 200. Yeah. That would be on the upgrade if they decide to take that. Again, this is what we're going to be sending out to our own people. And it's going to be good until Monday, because I get a lot of emails about, when it's going to be reopened, and, when are we going to have the recordings available and things like that. So this is something that I've been working on rolling out for my people as well. So if people want to take advantage of that, great. If not, hey, like you said, it's an additional revenue stream, and people can say what they want to say, but it's like, why wouldn't you take advantage of that if you feel like you have something to offer, right? It's like, I know what I do, and I know how this information has changed my life, and I know how it's made a major impact on the life of my customers, my students, and people don't brag about Tommy Powers just because for the heck of it. It's because they know that I try to deliver more value than what I ask for in return. And if people don't feel that way, hey, you can always, get your money back or whatever the case may be. Because if you don't feel like I'm giving you value, I don't really want your money. But I figure if I can give you something more valuable than what I charge you for, we both win it. And who wouldn't take advantage of an additional revenue stream? I'm going to make these videos and these resources and these campaign building templates and all of this stuff, whether I sell it or not. I'm going to make it anyway. I was doing it anyway. Why not have an additional revenue stream? So, if people can't see that and see the value in it, it's probably not right for them anyway. And I'm okay with that. My stuff isn't for everybody. So I get that.
One of the comments I want to make, I want to answer this last question, and we got to run, which is, I firmly believe that people should be paid for their information. I firmly believe that it's just a mutual respect thing. So I know Tommy well. I'm not saying that we've had lots of beers together, but we've met up and we've hung out and we've talked and stuff like that. But I've never called him up and said, hey, can I just have free access to your course so we can look at it? I would buy it first, and then I would contact him and say, hey, I'm trying to log into your course, or hey, I got a question. Yep. But that's the way I wanted to meet him. And it was the same way. I know I could have called you, and it would be weird to ask, in my opinion. I think money flows and you deserve to get paid. So I paid for this class that you were going to have 4 hours on a Saturday. I knew I was probably going to go out and party the night before. I knew I was going to be a little hungover, but I'm like, this is going to be good. And Tommy, I got to tell you, I got surround sound. I got Sonos speakers in my apartment. I love it here. So what happens is I have you playing on it's also duplicated on my monitors that I have here. It's pumped in through surround sound. You went on for 6.5 hours. And I'll never forget, at the end of 6 hours, this guy on there says, I think I need more information to read about the other program that you have before I decide to buy it. And I'm like, and I came on, your guy read this, it was Abel. I'm like, oh my God, you shouldn't have to think about the next thing that Tommy did. Like, I spent over $6 million on Facebook. I know some celebrities and some people online. They all talk about Tommy. I have to think about it. I mean, these are where people are putting $1,000, getting $2,000 back out. Why? If the value is great enough, does the price really matter? If if you can show me how to make $1 million, would I pay $1,000? Hell yeah, I'd pay $100,000 to learn from it.
Exactly.
Which it's just a math equation. So yeah, if anybody has to think about it, it's the wrong decision. This isn't a safe.
I agree. I totally agree. If you got to think about it, it's probably not right for you.
It's the one thing that you said, and I completely agree with you. I was saying this on stage to people, which was like, hey, look, I'm so passionate about my products and service and what I do. Money is a byproduct because I've seen the lives that it changed. And that's exactly what you said. You're like, dude, I know it's changed people. Whether you take it or not, I don't care. I know it's changed lives. So I have one last question for you, Tommy. Dude,
okay.
This is why I love hanging out with other people like us. It's fun. How do keywords come into play with constant posting of videos, like for headlines and descriptions? Also with posting videos, how do you choose between YouTube or Periscope? So,
well, between YouTube and Periscope, that's not my lane because I don't, I'm not an organic. I mean, we have organic strategies that we teach with as it relates to paid advertising and how we can impact that.
Yeah.
That sounds more of an organic question, the YouTube or Periscope. But keywords come into play basically where you can tell Google, because we're talking about AdWords, and I want to point out I get this question so much. If you don't have an AdWords account, you can't run YouTube advertising. It's ran through Google AdWords. Okay, so you have to have an AdWords account. But you basically telling AdWords, hey, when someone is watching a video about this particular keyword, show them my ad next to their video, or show my video in the stream of the video that they're about to watch. And that's really how you leverage keywords. And so keywords play a huge factor, and I use them very extensively, especially on in display, where I'm targeting people who are actually watching videos and people who are searching YouTube, which YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google itself. And you can actually target those people, those billions of searches that are happening a day on YouTube. You can target them based on keywords. Absolutely. And you can have your ad show up above the search results that normally they would show. That's, the targeting, that is extremely targeted traffic. Yep. But the way you do that is through in-display advertising, and which is the method that we teach in the workshop that we just recently did. So that's how you do it. But keywords are a massive opportunity on YouTube.
All right. So I know we're a little over. I got a call coming up here in a little bit, but dude, I can't tell you, Tommy, seriously how much I appreciate it. Like, I appreciate the insight, getting started, and everybody's like, but you guys already had money, or you were already exposed to this, or you were a data scientist, so you made it look easy. You just said it's split testing and verifying, and just test stuff out and just go.
I'll put it like this, man. My guy Abel knows jack, okay, about this online internet stuff. When I say jack, like literally he started working with me, 6-7 months ago, he knew jack. And he knows how to run ads campaigns now. I mean, he follows the templates we have, the training we have. I put him through the training. Obviously, he gets to work directly with me. That's an additional benefit that most people won't have. But he's been a catalyst in how I've been able to develop the training, because I had to realize I got to get what's out of my head into a format that someone like him can take and use and execute on the level that I need them to execute on. Absolutely. And so that's kind of the role that he's been able to play and help us actually fine tune and get better at how we create our training and stuff like that or whatever. So now we have it where we're bringing in more people now that can go out and execute, because we give them the tools and say, here go everything. We know that if you don't know, whether you know jack about it, we can hire someone who's, at least intellectually at a certain level, right? You do have to have some intelligence to some degree, and know your way around the computer. But we can interject them into the systems that we've already built, the processes that we've already laid out. So I'll say that.
And then I know one last other question popped in here. Here's the thing is, network marketing, making money online, that is really tough to market on Google. However, if you put the right content in front of the right people, you can never say the wrong thing to the right person. So it just means follow the terms of use. Like, don't follow the money trail. Lots of other people are interested in improving their health. Just take small little simple videos. And I will tell you this, I had a huge aha that I even asked Tommy during the training that he's talking about right now, that I said, hey, look, I have some people in at network marketing, online marketing, some interesting niches. Can you advertise in one of the methods? And you said, you can test it. And I'm not going to reveal it here because you teach it, so why repeat it here? And you're like, I haven't seen anybody get in trouble for it. I'm not saying that it's a perfect method, but I am saying I've driven a lot of traffic that way as well too. So if you do it right, yes. So Tommy, I want to say thank you very much. I got to run. By the way, you guys, again, follow Tommy if you can find him on the Googles. Follow him here. Follow him on Twitter. Take advantage of his offer. If you're part of Social Media Ad Genius, you'll see this back inside the membership area. Or Tommy, dude, I appreciate you, and I really thank you, brother. I really, really, really appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Man, I'm glad you guys had me, man. It's fun, man. I like this blab thing. I got to do more of these things, man. I got to do more of these things, man. I got so much stuff in me, man, that I need to get out.
So a lot of people say to me as well.
I got so much inside of me. It's just ridiculous. I got like 8.5 years of this stuff like in me, man, that I need to get it out, because I've blazed a lot of trails, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've I'm talking like there was bushes and there was trees and forests and nobody was there to guide me. And I've been through that stuff, and I feel like now I have an opportunity where I can really help a lot of people kind of get where they want to be a lot quicker than what it took me. And, if I could just get a fraction of this stuff out of my head, I could probably change a lot of lives. And I need to get more involved in social media. I really do. Twitter, Blab. I got people that Facebook that tag me and things like that. And, man, I've just been traveling all over the country, building a lot of relationships, and haven't had time to really focus on the social media. But I got to do more of this stuff, man. This is fun.
It's fun. All right, buddy. I see you. I appreciate you. We'll see you on the interwebs. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace.